Friends, my sales are up 157%, but you can see it's coming at a price right here on eBay, and we are going to get all into this data and figure out how to minimize that price because my fees are also up 592%. Now, before you click off of this video and say, hey, it's not worth that increase in fees, I'm going to be sharing with you a strategy that is showing you how I am minimizing those fees while still keeping my sales up. Let's jump into it. I am going to be talking about my new promoted listing strategies today, showing you the data, the back end, so that you guys can look at your numbers and figure out the best strategy for yourselves. We are in eBay, we are on My Seller Hub marketing, and then we're over here on the dashboard. I've done a video on how to set up a promoted listing, how to set up a campaign, what all of these numbers mean. So I will link that video up above. But today I want to talk about my new strategy because you can see here, yes, promoting my listings is absolutely working. I've increased it from 2% on everything all the way to doing trending. And then as items get older, I'm increasing that even more to get even more exposure on it. It's working, friends. I am getting more impressions. My impressions are up 128%. Impressions means someone is seeing my item. They cannot purchase it until they have seen it. This is the first step in the hierarchy. First, they need to see my item. Then they need to click on my item. My clicks are up 285%. Now, we're looking at my promoted listing items. I currently have everything promoted, so we're looking at everything. But if you're going through and doing some A/B testing, you can have different campaigns and look at, hey, I'm only going to promote 100 and look at this information, right? That video that I linked earlier is going to go all the way into that. But right now we're looking at all of my listings because everything's promoted. Clicks. So first it starts with impressions, and then they see someone sees an item and then they click on it. So my clicks are up 285%. Someone has to see the item first, and then they have to click on it, and then they convert to sales. And you can see I have sold 180% more items this time period compared to the previous month when I wasn't doing this strategy. 180%, friends. But come on down here and look at this. My ad fees are up 592%. Now, that's a little scary. It's very scary, but I want to keep in mind that the chart that we're looking at right now is for promoted listing. The ad fees for items that sold via promoted listing. If you don't know much about promoted listings, I do promoted listing standard, and so an item only pays that fee if it sold via promoted listing. So this is up. My items that have sold via promoted listing fees are up 592%. But let's go ahead and look at what my total fees are doing, because that's going to be not quite as worse, not quite as bad, but it's still bad. And that's what I'm talking about in this video, is how to minimize that, because I want those sales, but I don't want to necessarily pay as much for them as well. So now I'm in here on my Seller Hub. I'm on performance. I'm on sales. If you come down here, this is my whole store. What we were looking at before was just the promoted listing. So items that were being viewed via promoted listings, items that were sold via promoted listings, items that I was paying more promoted listing fees. Now we're looking at everything. So you can see these numbers are slightly smaller. Everything is still up though, right? Which is good. My total sales, so organic things are selling normally, and promoted listings are up 61%. My net sales are up. Everything's up. And you can see down here, if you look at your selling costs, 39% of my total sales, 59%. We can go ahead and scroll all the way down. Okay, so if we go ahead and scroll all the way down on this tab, you can see my selling costs. And my selling costs are essentially my fees. And I have a video that goes all the way into all of these. It's not just my fees, it's my shipping, it's my promoted listing fees, my store fees, my everything that it takes, not necessarily just my fees. But you can see my total selling costs. This gets confusing because the arrow is up, but it's red. Red means bad. So my selling fees are up 3.9%. So my fees are definitely up, but only 4%, which is still a little bit. 4% in the grand scheme of things is still a lot, but not that 500%. I'm spending 500% more in promoted listing fees, but I'm still selling items organically. However, I don't want this to be the case, right? Like, I want to have more sales and to minimize as much as I can can. So what I have been doing, and then I'm going to show you how I know that it's working. What I have been doing is, in the past, I had 2% promoted listing on, and I was running sales. The older an item was, the higher the sale that I was running. I was trying to give that cost savings onto the seller, or onto the buyer. And that was working for a while. I did a review of it. Like I said, the video I linked earlier, I did a review of it, and I decided to do more promoted listings. People cannot buy the item on sale if they can't see it, right? And so I'm putting it in front of more buyers. However, what I've done now is I'm paying, 4% more in fees, 500% more in promoted listing fees. So what I have done is actually lower my sales, running a sale. Right? I used to do 50% off if it was over a year, and now I've backed it down to 30%. So I am still running a sale, but the person is seeing more of the items. The people that want to see it have more places to see it. My theory is they're going to see it more, and the 30% is going to be enough to get them to do it. So at the end of the day, my net, even though I'm paying more for promoted listings, my items are going to be selling higher because I'm not running as high of a sale on these items, and I'm going to be making more net. So let's go ahead and look at if my theory is true. I've done this for the past 2 months. I started this in October, so I've done this for the month of October. We're going to scroll on up, and you can see here on this chart, again, we are still on performance sales. I'm looking at this month compared to the previous month. You can go in and filter this. I will link a video up here that goes really in depth into how to look at all of these tabs and what all of these numbers really mean if you need a little bit more background on that. My total sales are up. Great. My net sales are up. And you can see the difference between this, the difference between your total sales and your net sales is going to be your selling cost. So I'm at about an 11% difference. This is slightly higher than what I am used to it being. However, if we scroll on down, we're going to go to this tab. You can see it starts on all sales. We already kind of looked at that. And now let's look at the promoted listings. You can see my promoted listing sales are up by 227%. My organic sales are actually down. So if I wasn't promoting as much and getting as much of an increase from these promotions, my sales would be down right now. And this makes total sense, friends, because the market is not great. I've done a video and I will link it up above. We're going into a recession. People have less money. We're not doing a stimulus anymore. It's an election year, which always makes people a little bit nervous. And so it makes sense that sales aren't there. However, my sales are up because I am promoting them. It's coming at a price. This is how I've minimized the price, is by running a smaller sale. So then if you go ahead and continue and click on to offer sales, this is what's interesting and how I know that it's working. My sales without offers are up 141%. What this is telling me is I'm still running sales on items, but instead of doing 50% on old inventory, I'm doing 30%. And now it's in front of way more people. And I am making more sales on people clicking it and buying it without sending an offer. So they are paying more money for it. So I am making, right? I am making more money, and I'll show you guys in a minute, but I just want you to really understand this concept. I want to make more net. I'm paying to promote these listings. I'm paying eBay up to 10-25% of what it sells for. So if I take some of that out of the sale item, my net is going to be up. And you can see that here, my sales without offers is working. People are buying items at a higher price. And we're going to scroll up one more place to look at to double check that this is actually working. And you can see here, my average sale price has increased 2.2%. Now, keep in mind, this is not at the same rate as I'm paying promoted listings. This is a new strategy and I have to work on it. And I have to slowly get the data to move over, but this strategy is absolutely working, and this is how I know. Let me know what your guys' promoted listing strategy is. YouTube thinks you'd like this video. I will link a playlist here of how to make money reselling, and then make sure to hit that subscribe button.